EkGaon was started in 2002 with a focus of using information technology for providing services to rural areas. That has been focused for last 10 years that we have been there. What we have been looking at in terms of spaces of providing services have been financial services space, wherein we provide technology-enabled platforms for financial services providers for providing facilitated services to customers using mobile phone as a point of sale terminal for transactions that could be credit transactions, savings, mortgage, insurance and everything. So we provide these platforms which are a pay as you use transaction system, and that's what our revenue source is for our financial services work. Over 5 years back, we started as our various experiments in agriculture services area, wherein we have been looking at the space in terms of what is required by the farmers and try to look into how we can provide the services to the farmers. We tried many approaches, many of those failed, and some of those over a period of time succeeded, and we learned a lot about how and what works in terms of agriculture information services for the farmers. What we understood very early on was that you need to follow the ecosystem approach of providing the service to the farmer, wherein farmer get to engage with your ecosystem of services being provided and be comfortable in using those services instead of going to 10 places to find services that are relevant to the primary activity of crop production that they are engaged in. So that is once we got that understanding, we started looking at point of intersection in which will create that USP, which will be unique for the farmer to engage with our service. First, from point of view of getting value for the money that they are ready to pay, and realization that whatever services I'm using or I'm taking is worth the investment that I'm making. So it took us quite a bit of time, like I said. But over a period of time, we understood that if we design a service which is focused on personalization of the advisory to the farmers, personalization could be for the crop, for the piece of land that they have, for the microclimate in which they exist. If we are able to do that, then probably the intake of the service for the farmers will be much higher. At the same time, the farmer would be able to relate to the service in a more personal way rather than having an indifferent approach towards the service because it's common to everybody else. So this is what we have learned. And finally, the most important part is that the farmer would be ready to pay for the service because they see that this is my service, this is being developed for me, and that personalized relationship that is there with the service is something very unique in terms of understanding. So that's what the main differing point of EkGaon's OneFarm service is, wherein it is personalized, it's customized and it is localized for a farmer, his or her farm, for the crop that they're growing, for the piece of land that they have, and the microclimate in which they exist. So we georeference the location of the farmer, we capture the characteristic of the land that they have in terms of soil type and soil nutrient level in the soil. We get the crop and the variety that they have grown in the past and they want to grow next in the crop season for which they want the advisory. Using some algorithm that we have developed for our system, we are able to design nutrient loss from the soil for growing the last crop and the nutrient requirement for the new crop. Add that together into multiple dosages, divide those dosages across the entire crop cycle, and then offer that entire service in terms of divided into nutrient management, crop management, disease and pest alert based on incidences, climate and weather information advisory, the information where to buy a fertilizer and pesticide, when to get a bank loan, if they are into a canal irrigation system, the land exists in a canal irrigation system, then in that area what is the type of availability of water, when is water available, so we have this interesting system wherein we capture the dam water release, and using hydrogeomorphological data identify the time it takes for the water to be released from point X to reach point Y in terms of days and hours, and then release that information to the farmer whose land is in that vicinity. So the farmer is able to take advanced decision on when to start irrigation and other crop management practices. We have farm news, we have market prices. All this information is customized in a way in which it is relevant to the farmer. For example, like I mentioned about the nutrient management service, nutrient management is very much focused on the land on which the farmer is going to crop. At the same time, we also have a disease and pest alert system which is incidence based, which means basically that if a temperature and a weather condition of a place, a humidity condition says that there is a chance of this particular disease or pest affecting this particular crop or variety of the crop, then this is the pesticide to be used in this proportion to be applied. So that calculation in terms of observation of disease incidences happened in past, data related to humidity, temperature and rainfall in real time, compare that together, identify the crop, identify the soil type, and do the analysis whether this chances of this disease affecting crop is more or less. So that's how this disease alert system works. It is further added in terms of another value is that when the advisory goes saying that you have to apply this particular pesticide, we tell them they don't apply for next 3 days because there is a rainfall projection in your area, and hence if you apply then it will be washed off, you have to apply again, which is an extra cost to the farmer. And we are talking about small and marginal farmers here who don't have a lot of money, and agri input cost forms almost 60 to 70% of the total cost of investment in agriculture. So any savings in that is useful, and our services have proven that as per some studies that we have conducted for various agencies, we've found that total saving in agri input cost is about 30% in our field areas, and about productivity enhancement using our services to the farmer have been around 10 to 15%. So for a farmer who pays 120 rupees for our crop management service called OneFarm Green Card, is able to save approximately 530 rupees in just agri input cost. And needless to say that risk reduction to the crop has been reduced, crop productivity has been increased. So it all adds up to give additional income to the farmer, and whereas farmer is able to understand the utility of the service in real time. As per our future projection plan, what we have been planning is to expand across India first. We are looking at capturing around 15 million farmers in the next 5 years, subject to we be able to raise investment. We are looking at venture capital investment for investment in our work. There's a lot of cost involved in producing localized content for various crops and advisories. That is the major area of investment requirement. At the same time, translation into different languages and making the information available in different languages, and investment in marketing, business development team, human resources. That's another area of our requirement. So we're looking to raise about $5 million, which can be which we plan to invest over a 3-year period to reach out to at least 15 million farmers in next 5 years. That's what our task is. And in these 5 years, what we also plan to do is to add 22 main crops that are grown, cash crops that are grown by the farmers, and these cash crops and plus about 1,000 variety of these cash crops into our system. So we'll be having approximately about 1,000 variety of crops being cultivated by over 15 million farmers in India alone, and then we plan to expand into South Asia first and Africa next. So that's our future plans.